Hello, and welcome to another edition of Ben Wolkoff Debriefs the Transition. Today I'd like to debrief an experience I had at the Highway 21 conference yesterday in Westminster. So this is the conference that Adams 12 puts on, and I know a number of you have been in the past. I did a session on Shades of One-to-One, which you have probably seen in some form or format throughout the year, but this session was different because there was just one teacher that I was working with. It was a one on one coaching session for 2 hours. And we went through this content and talked about the concepts of putting the student first and putting the student in the center and doing the narrative activity of writing out what the vision is for that student of the connected learner in the center. And this teacher has so much experience. She has over 30 years of library experience and teaching experience. She's an English teacher, and she has a lot of traditional instincts, right? She does vocabulary tests every couple of weeks and focuses on like 6 words every sort of time period. And she has those moments of realizing, I know that this isn't working, that what I am doing is not entirely working, but I also know that this is important. And she was trying to figure out how to mesh her own personal beliefs about every kid can do what I am asking them to do, but there is also value in doing things and sort of preserving more traditional ways of teaching. But she was like slowly talking herself in and out of that in many, many ways. 2 years ago, she applied for a Chromebook cart in her classroom and has started using Google Classroom, has started adapting lessons in the moment. She will say, oh, you know what we need? We need to look at this resource or do this learning task, and she will send them out on Google Classroom. And so we walked through sort of the exercise of it, right? Talking about what does the student need? What is the device asking of us? How do we support both sides of that? And then how do we think about where we're going from and to? And that was all a very important exercise for her to sort of consider what next year looks like, because she has to reapply for that same card. She has to reapply and to make the case that she is doing something that is fundamentally different because of the technology. And she almost cried when she thought about the idea that someone would take these tools away from her. She felt very much like, these are the tools I need to do my work. I can't go back. I can't go back to grading papers, and having the stack. I can't go back. And that's really how she was thinking about it. And it made me think a lot about how we are investing in folks who have a huge amount of experience but are still hungry. It made me think about the ways in which we can't go back once we know that there is power in letting kids inquire, letting kids use the devices to inquire, to ask. It it makes a difference. And so it made me wonder about the places where we are investing in folks with huge amounts of experience, where we're investing in our librarians, where we are investing in folks that maybe 5, 10 years ago started down a path but haven't received a lot of support since. It makes me wonder, and it makes me think that there is more that we can do to take a look at folks who have an incredibly strong instructional background. They might have a traditionally strong instructional background, but that they are still hungry for doing things that are right for kids. And how do we identify folks that are ready to move that way? How do we support those folks in taking what they know in their 30 years of experience and applying that to a different context, because they now have access to more information, more tools, more resources at their disposal? And how do we also, for those folks that were the early adopters 5, 10 years ago, how do we continue to support their growth and say, we're not going to take this away from you. In fact, we're going to support you in thinking about your practice, in having 2 hour coaching sessions. This was the most amazing thing, to have 2 hours with this one teacher and to work through and to talk about a few different tools that are going to benefit, she said, in her classroom. She is working with kids that are like our kids and that have all of the same complexities that our kids do. And I saw so much in her, some of the teachers that I have seen in classrooms here that are desperate to find what is next for their classroom. How do we help them do that? So this is more of a meta reflection, but I think it's important because I think there's a lot of value in sort of seeing we are the same. You and I, teacher, are the same. And let's work together to figure it out. I hope you have a great last day of teaching, learning, leading, and creating for the 2017-16-17 school year. Talk to you soon.